Hey everyone, welcome to Gaming Update. Today we'll be covering the good, the bad, and the ugly from this year's E3 conference. So if you're standing, sit down. And if you're sitting, stand up and take your pants off, because things are about to get wild. This year saw the return of the Nintendo World Championship, a video game competition series hosted by Nintendo. Now, the last time this competition was hosted was back in 1990, which means technically this is a competition that's hosted once every 25 years. That's like FIFA times 6, only without the unnecessarily high death toll. Fucking take that, Europe. Now, I'm usually not a fan of competitive esports, but I actually found this to be really entertaining. Especially at the end of the competition when they were playing Mario Maker, it was really cool to see them adapt to unfamiliar situations. The winner was a guy by the name of John Numbers, and he is about as adorably awkward as you would expect a professional video game player to be.
There you have it, John Numbers,
Nintendo
your
World
2015
Champion.
Nintendo World Champion.
They're on their feet for their new champion. Let's hear it for John Numbers! Drop the mic. John, congratulations. You are, in fact, the Nintendo World Champion for 2015!
I'm a little speechless, that's all.
You're allowed to be. You're a champ.
I'm a champ.
Aside from the Nintendo World Championship, I actually felt like Nintendo's E3 conference was a little bit disappointing. They unveiled a new Star Fox game, which looks like a lot of fun, but honestly, you could have told me that this was running on the Wii, and I would have believed you, because it doesn't look next-gen. And aside from that, there were some puppets. There were a lot of puppets, actually. You know, to be honest, I'm not sure if this even actually happened. I may have just had a fever dream. This year, Bethesda hosted its first ever conference, which promised to deliver news of their upcoming titles Doom and Fallout 4, and they did not fail. Bethesda kicked off the conference with gameplay from the upcoming Doom. It's violent, guys. Like, really violent. If you're wondering whether you'd be able to split demons in half with a sarcastically large chainsaw, good news, you can. The game is already being criticized for being overly violent, so it looks like things are on the right track. Microsoft had a surprisingly strong showing this year for E3, which is good to see, because the last few conferences they had weren't the greatest. While they didn't have any earth-shattering video game announcements, they did, however, have some pretty interesting news around its hardware. So first up, Xbox announced that the Xbox One would be gaining backwards compatibility.
Today, I'm pleased to announce Xbox One backward compatibility. Your Xbox 360 games, the games you've invested your time and money in, and the games you want to continue to play will be playable natively on your Xbox One.
Xbox also announced that the Xbox One would be gaining early access video games in the form of Xbox Game Preview. For those of you who don't know, early access is a system where players can pay to play alpha and beta versions of upcoming video games. It's a feature that's been available to PC gamers for quite some time now, and it's steeped in controversy. So I'm curious to see how this will work out for Xbox One users. Xbox also announced a new controller for their system called the Elite Pro Controller. The controller is modular, so it's highly customizable. You can go in there and play with sensitivities and even button remapping. This new controller looks like an awesome piece of hardware until you realize that it's $150. I could buy 3 controllers for that price. I'm pretty sure I could buy a wife if I went to the right website. That's insane. But all in all, I think Microsoft had a great conference. They demonstrated their upcoming VR headset, the HoloLens, with some Minecraft gameplay, and it looked suspiciously good. They lowered a car into the audience for some reason. Also, what's up with the seating arrangement? I don't know who got a worse deal here, the people that had to stare at this car for the rest of the conference, or the people that got seats that were actually behind the initial stage, so they had to spend the first bit of the conference staring at Phil Spencer's ass. Sony set high expectations for itself when it promised that its E3 conference would break the internet, and I think most people would agree that it met those expectations. Sony began their conference with gameplay from the long-awaited game from Team Ico, The Last Guardian. This game has been in development for so long, it's literally wearing a "Do Not Resuscitate" sign. But Sony came out swinging with updated gameplay. They even gave the game a release date, albeit kind of a vague one. The game is slated to release next year. So that was a pretty big shock, but even that was shadowed later on in the conference when Sony announced Square Enix's upcoming remake of Final Fantasy VII.
We're proud to announce that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming first to PlayStation 4.
I swear you can almost hear the squish as every person in that conference immediately gets sopping wet. Then, as if that already wasn't enough, Sony invited Yu Suzuki on stage to unveil the Kickstarter for Shenmue 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Yu Suzuki. How are you doing?
Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The immediate flood of backers to Kickstarter actually caused the website to crash. Holy shit, Sony, you actually managed to do it. You actually broke the internet. Ugh. This conference was just unprecedented. I mean, it's the fair trade equivalent of a bukkake video. People were literally crying in the audience. I'm pretty sure that guy found God at some point. Personally, I felt like I needed to have a cigarette after this was all over, and I don't even smoke. Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, and Square Enix all held their own conferences as well. And we can talk about that, or we can watch this video of a squirrel dive bombing the dugout at a Dodgers game. And honestly, this video is a lot more interesting than anything they had to say anyway, so why don't we just go ahead and watch that.
And check out this. We have a squirrel crawling up the net behind home plate. The squirrel and the Phillies and the Cardinals, that's not something we want to talk about. Now he's going to try. I didn't think that was going to happen. Now he's on the Phillies dugout. Now he's in the Phillies dugout. The players have scattered.
Fearing for his life.
Well, oh my.
Incoming!
Oh my.
Now, even though we're a smaller channel, I pulled some strings and was actually able to get one of our correspondents access to E3 this year. We're going to go live to CJ Fox now with his review and impressions of E3.
The year is 1981. Steven Spielberg would have only a dream, his wealth, and what some would say would be a giant rock of crack cocaine.
Wait, hold on. Steven Spielberg made a video game? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about your coverage of E3 2015.
E3? Oh, the video game thing.
Any new or interesting video games that caught your interest?
E.T. phone home.
Get the f*** out of here, Greg!
Oh, God.
I'll pay you later. Get out of here. Go. Shoot. The bit's canceled. Let's get out of here.
CJ, is everything okay over there?
I'm sorry about that. That was my crazy aunt. She's in town. I don't know what she's doing. She's crazy. But for real, E3.
Oh, okay. What's on that screen behind you?
It's not my ball sack. It might be my ball sack. Let me get this off there, though. I'm sorry about it. It's definitely my wrinkly ball sack. E3. Yeah, that's what it's on there. I'm sorry about that. I hit the wrong slideshow, West. This is my bad. Sorry. Sorry, everybody, for seeing my balls. Oh, man.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about your experience at E3 this year.
Yeah, definitely. They just released a new game. It's actually an exciting game for all consoles.
Oh, really? Okay. What's it called?
Oh, the one that got me going there? Yeah, there was this one called Extraterrestrial. Yeah, Extraterrestrial. It was a great game.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't heard about that one. Okay, what kind of game is it?
It's about this alien who gets stranded on Earth. Yeah, he gets stranded on Earth. I can't even believe it. And he makes friends with this little, child.
Okay, can you describe some of the core gameplay mechanics?
There's movement. He's trying to phone home to get somebody to get him. He's trying to make it home by just finding his friend.
Okay.
Yeah, Wes, there's also a stealth mechanic in the game where you have to blend in with your surroundings, kind of like stuffed animals and such. There's also a mini game where you have to touch each other's fingers together in order to bond a friendship. I don't know what it was about, but it was docking at its best.
CJ?
Yeah?
That game sounds f***ing awesome!
Get low when the whistle go.
And what some people would say is a rock. so giant it would be almost crack enormous. I gotta get that last fucking line down. It's pissing me off that I can't get it down. Wes, don't you worry about what you're seeing here. It's just it's my ball sack. Very hairy. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of it. Get the out of here, Greg.
Feel free to like swag it out.
Oh, I told him not to get my balls on the face and in the computer. God.
E.T. phone home.
Get the out of here, Greg. Oh, I'll pay you later. It's all right. Get out of here. Yeah, I can do a couple of these. Gotta get out of there. Preview. Oh, yeah, this is E3 coverage. Let me just get into this.
You guys want to know what the beer is that's been sitting back here? This is Belhaven Brewery Scottish Ale. Rich, nutty, smooth. Amazing, bro.
A little quicker. Sidebar slideshow. Yeah, Wes, that's what it is. I just made the slideshow about this. It's not my balls, I promise you that. Oh, PlayStation.